Fair enough.
Speaking of carrying bags, you have a guest on the bag this week. How did
I
that
do.
come to be?
Sorry?
How'd that whole thing come to be?
I've been trying to tell everyone I fired Austin, but no one's believing me. So Austin actually reached out to Joe. Austin's got the flu.
How's it going so far? Is it any sort of adjustment, or is it just...
It's Joe used to live in San Diego when we were both there more often, so I've played a lot with him, which is helpful. So I think that's probably why Austin ended up reaching out to him, just because we played a lot of golf.
And now it's been a couple months since the gold medal. Where does it rank? Like, I'm curious how you think about it in hindsight of just how big has that been for your career? Obviously, it's not a major, but where does it rank for you?
I mean, selfishly, pretty high. I'd say it's my biggest accomplishment, and I just think the feedback is sort of what's made it more special for me. Every random people I've talked to or people that I've met, it's sort of the first thing they mention, and that's what they attach to my name, which I'm totally fine with. So I think the more people talk about it in that sort of light, it makes it seem more special to me. You know, I was pretty transparent saying, like, I almost didn't go for certain reasons, and me ended up going and winning is one thing, but like the fact that I almost thought about not going, looking back on it now, is a little bit foolish. But it all, not that everything happens for a reason, but that happened.
Not to make you think too hard on a Wednesday.
Please don't.
With all these different proposed leagues going on here, Rory kind of threw out the idea that the tour can do some. If you're looking for innovation, if you're looking for a little more engagement, the tour can actually do this stuff. What would work, do you think? What kind of stuff can the tour do? Can golf do to change up a format or do something innovative? Or can you think of anything? At this
Yeah. I was just going to ask for a little more context on sort of
doing the best I can.
Yeah, it's not very good. That's sort of it's funny. It is a big talk. We have the top players in the world here, and it's just a question that I knew one of you guys was going to ask eventually, and so I feel like my big goal and why I have a team surrounding me is to make sure that I can go play golf at a high level, so I don't have to sit here and think of how to make all the top players stay on the PGA Tour or why they shouldn't think about leaving or things like that. So it's the tour's job to do it. They say it's our tour, us players, we make the tour, so I imagine they'd be very creative in coming up with ways to make sure we don't go do anything that they wouldn't want us to do.
Have you? I mean, I don't know if you've ever done Zurich, have you?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
I've done it twice.
So we have a team event. Did you play Barracuda that first year of the Stableford?
Nope.
That's about the only other kind of different thing. Are you okay with the steady diet of 72 holes, or would you like to see like a tournament where you only have 7 clubs in the bag or stuff like that?
My big thing, and I think it's sort of a principle in this matter, is just I need to play against the best players in the world. Whether
That's what you just said a minute ago.
What's that?
That's what you just said a minute ago.
Well, I said I need to play my best golf against the best players in the world. But for me, I need to play against the best in order to be the best. And wherever that is where I will go. So right now, the PGA Tour has the best players in the world. So I'm playing on the PGA Tour. It's pretty simple.
Do you look at yourself as among the best in the world? I don't want to go down a Patrick Reed top 5 in the world kind of statement here, but are you comfortable looking at yourself as one of the elite players in the world, or do you ever even bother thinking that?
It's an interesting thing to think about. Yeah, I'd say I'm amongst the top players in the world. I'd feel comfortable saying that. I mean, based on ranking or feeling or just being out here with the guys, like an office environment, yeah, I'm pretty comfortable. This is my 5th or 6th year on tour, so I've become more and more comfortable out here, and I still haven't accomplished a lot of things that I want to do. So wherever that may be is where I'll go.
We don't know if this will come to this, but would you have a problem with the tour telling you that you can't play somewhere?
I mean, yeah, I feel like it's very absolute. I feel like there just needs to be some sort of counter in the way certain things work. I mean, they can do, I'll try and do what I need to do, and they'll tell me what I can and can't do at a certain point. But I feel like they need to counter. They can't just tell me, no, you can't do this, and then just kick rocks, kid. That's not really how I'd want to do things. So they've been pretty good about. I like I said, I try and play golf. I'm just trying to. I have an agent and a manager, and that's their job. I'm on the green grass, and they're supposed to handle all the talk. So nothing too crazy has come up to me yet from my agent or from my manager. So I feel like I'm just still here, just trying to play golf at a high level, and then they'll show me the cards whenever the cards are drawn.
Back to Doug's question about whether you're one of the best players in the world. You seem like a pretty tough guy to surprise. Is there anybody out here or anything that people do out here as golfers that still surprises you or impresses you?
Yeah. I mean, I think being surprised and impressed are two different things. Yeah, I'm not one to get too rattled, I'd say. I like to joke around and certain things like that. But yeah, there's definitely certain things that are very impressive that people do, and that's why I like to come back and go to I'm going to go to the range after this because someone was doing something better than me, and I need to go try and chase them. So that's kind of how I look at things.
Do you have an example?
I mean, the easiest example right now would be Colin's iron play. It's untouched as of now. Guys have hit irons just as good as him or better, arguably, statistically. But I think he's on track if he can maintain to be the best iron player to ever play the game. So that is, a mark that's way up high. You look at some guys' driving stats, you look at some guys' putting stats, some guys' chipping. So I'm trying to make my game more complete, and I'm trying to learn that, it is okay to every part of the game can feel different at times versus, I always try to make everything very uniform, and I'm trying to learn how to, be able to adapt to certain sort of shots on the course.
Xander, if you took Tiger out of the mix, which I'd ask you to do in this case, who was the coolest golfer that you wanted to be like? Not just necessarily playing, but just, presentation on the course type thing.
It's funny. The example for me was always growing up, and I'm so lucky to sort of get to know both of them a little bit. My dad always asked me, do you want to be like Tiger Woods or you want to be like Freddie Couples? And so I just did a charity thing with Freddie in San Diego, and it's just so cool to get to know him because, when my dad used those two names, it was sort of like, do you want to be like Tiger Woods and know everything about your swing, everything that's going on, or go with the flow, Freddie, who's just super, chill about anything that happens, is not really fazed by anything. And so getting to know them a little bit, it's pretty true. Freddie's probably one of the coolest guys you can possibly be. And I like picking on both of them for different reasons, and they love to give it back. So,
how much, if you go back to, say, teen years, how much would you say your swing has changed?
Same DNA, or however the coaches like to say it these days, but it's faster. It's probably just my body's changed more. I'm barely taller, a little bit heavier, so I probably swing the club a little bit faster, but in a very similar fashion.
We're roughly the same age, growing up in Southern California, so I'd imagine that Tiger Woods was. I don't need to say it.
Sure.
With the news or what he said the last couple of days about how he may never play the tour full time again, what were your emotions upon seeing that? Does it feel like it's kind of an end of an era?
I did not see that quote or hear it.
He basically said that he's going to have to pick and choose like Hogan did afterwards, and that he won't ever play full time again.
Yeah, it's understandable based on the injuries he's had to deal with. His body just isn't. Golf is not good on your body, and having broken legs and playing a lot of golf is not great on your body either. So I think he loves the game of golf and wants to play, and like he said, he's going to play a limited schedule. So I think it's great that he's still willing to try and compete. I just saw him, yesterday, and I told him he's the most stubborn person that I know, and that he's trying to, basically, he's using this situation as motivation to try and come back and win and be that guy, because he's always been that guy. So I hope he does it. Hopefully not on my watch, but I think it's really good for the game, and I think it's really cool that he's not really stepping away, because he could have easily just given up and sort of taken a back seat to everything that's happened.
Xander, if a young kid wanted to take either something about the way you play the game, what do you think it would be?
Just an attitude. I think that was my big sort of takeaway since I've been on tour is, you always look at the top players, and even me, you still look at top players and sort of see what they do really well or what they don't do really well, and there's certain things you can't control, and I feel like having a really good attitude is one of those things you can control, and I think that sort of everyone's competitive, everyone's fiery. You know, you're going to swear or say stupid things, but overall, having a generally good attitude about, you know, how you carry yourself and handle yourself on the golf course is a good way to go about things. And so, you know, I try my best to make that sort of one of my strengths. I always joke about the strokes gain attitude with Webb Simpson, and we still joke about it now, just seeing him and his caddy Paul here. So, you know, I'd be happy to say, you know, if a kid was like, I'd love to have as good of an attitude as Xander has.
What would be your definition of a good attitude? Never losing your temper, tough. I mean, give me a one sentence answer.
Yeah, never really letting a moment be too big, I think, and just also realizing that as I am very competitive, but sometimes it is just golf, and sometimes you don't have your best stuff, and sometimes having a really good attitude can kind of eke your way through. Instead of finishing 20th, you may finish 5th just because you looked about it in a better light.
This is gonna. Well, I'm done.
That's it.
This was gonna.